This is the story of a king who, though deeply inclined towards devotion and literature, was forced to ascend the throne by circumstances during a period when the Chola Empire was beginning its resurgence. It's the tale of a monarch who fought to protect his empire, even though his heart yearned for a life of spiritual pursuit rather than kingship. Gandaraditya wished to live more like an ascetic than a warrior. We will explore in detail why his reign is considered both significant and unique in Chola history. In the golden annals of history, some kings endure through their valiant wars and imperial expansions. Others gain eternal fame through their contributions to art, literature, and spirituality. But this story is about a Chola king who, unwilling to ascend the throne, was deeply devoted to piety and wisdom. Yes, we're talking about Gandaraditya Chola. It was a period when the fame of the Chola Empire had reached its zenith under Parantaka Chola I. Ruling from 907 CE to 955 CE, Parantaka I earned the title Madurai Konda Kapurkesari, conqueror of Madurai, and strengthened the Chola Empire. Gandaraditya was one of his 4 sons. Gandaraditya was one of the sons of Parantaka Chola I. He had several elder brothers. Therefore, the throne was not naturally within his reach. Perhaps this was one reason for his spiritual inclination. From a young age, Gandaraditya had a deep devotion to Lord Shiva. He had no interest whatsoever in royal competitions, state administration, or wars. Instead, he focused his mind on Saiva Siddhanta, singing Tevaram hymns and honoring devotees of Shiva. He truly wished to live more like a sage than a king. Not just in Gandaraditya's life, but also in the history of the Cholas, his queen, Sembiyan Mahadevi, played a very significant role. Her contributions to Chola temples and sculpture are unparalleled. She understood Gandaraditya's spiritual inclination, became his companion, and later served as a cultural guardian of the Chola Empire. Sembiyan Mahadevi placed no obstacles in the way of Gandaraditya's spiritual desires. How then did such a spiritually inclined great man come to sit on the Chola throne? That was an unavoidable turning point in Chola history. Although the dominion of Parantaka Chola I was vast, some challenges arose in his final days. The threat from the Rashtrakutas advancing from the northwest was particularly significant. Notably, the Battle of Takkalam in 949 CE caused a great loss for the Cholas. In this battle, Rajaraja, the eldest son of Parantaka and heir to the throne, met a heroic death. This loss shook the Chola Empire. Parantaka Chola's other elder sons might not have been in a position to rule. In this critical situation, an heir to the throne was needed. It was then that Gandaraditya, who had no interest in the throne, ascended the throne out of a sense of duty. This was not merely for the desire for power, but an expression of sacrifice to protect the large family that was the Chola Empire. Gandaraditya's reign lasted for only 7 years, from 950 CE to 957 CE. This period in the history of the Chola Empire was marked by instability. The dominance of the Rashtrakutas began to strengthen. There is no clear evidence of large-scale imperial expansion wars during Gandaraditya's reign. His primary focus was on countering the Rashtrakuta threat and maintaining internal peace within the empire. As a result of the Battle of Takkalam, the Cholas had lost their dominance in their northern territories. Gandaraditya might have attempted to recapture these areas, but it does not appear that he achieved major success. The influence of the Rashtrakutas continued during his rule. Furthermore, some Pandya and Chera chieftains might have tried to regain their independence. Gandaraditya focused on suppressing such minor uprisings. As a devout king, his actions suggest that he preferred to avoid wars as much as possible and strive for peace. Due to his short reign and external threats, there is no clear evidence that he initiated large-scale new welfare projects, like irrigation, tax reforms. However, his contributions to spirituality and the growth of the Saiva religion indirectly guided the people towards good. Through the propagation of devotion, he attempted to foster social harmony. Gandaraditya is known more as a devotee than a warrior. His spiritual contribution will remain eternal in Chola history. There is less direct historical evidence that Gandaraditya built large temples. However, he might have carried out renovation works in many existing Shiva temples. In particular, he had a great attachment to the Chidambaram Nataraja temple. Some information also states that he carried out renovation works for this temple. The name Gandaraditya means Kandar plus Adifir, which translates to son like Skanda, Morrigan, or son equal to Skanda. This is an explanation for his name. It does not appear that he assumed many special titles for himself. His fame largely came from his devotion and literary contributions. Gandaraditya's contribution to Tamil Saiva literature is immense. He composed Thiruvasaipa. Thiruvasaipa is part of the 9th Tirumurai of the Saiva devotional canon. It includes 10 hymns called Thiruvativu composed by Gandaraditya. These hymns praise the form and grace of Lord Shiva. Gandaraditya is a unique example of a king who, instead of displaying valor on the battlefield, expressed devotion through poetry. Gandaraditya, along with his wife Sembiyan Mahadevi, nurtured the Saiva Siddhanta and the tradition of reciting Tivaram hymns. Although there were no major victories in the political arena against the Rashtrakutas, Gandaraditya achieved immortal fame in the spiritual realm. Perhaps, had he not come to power, it is questionable whether his devotional hymns would have become so widely known. Gandaraditya had a son named Uttama Chola. However, Gandaraditya wished to step away from the throne and resume his spiritual life. His brother, Rajaraja Chola, ruled for a short period from 956 CE to 957 CE. After Gandaraditya's demise, around 957 CE, a succession crisis arose in the Chola Empire. In this challenging period, the decision made by Gandaraditya's wife, Sembiyan Mahadevi, was very important. Understanding the sacrifices made by her husband Gandaraditya and for the Chola Empire, Sembiyan Mahadevi avoided a succession struggle and brought her son, Uttama Chola, to the throne. Uttama Chola ruled for approximately 15 years, from 970 CE to 985 CE. Under Sembiyan Mahadevi's guidance, Uttama Chola also contributed to the growth of the Saiva religion. Later, after Uttama Chola, Rajaraja Chola, another son of Sundara Chola and a great hero of the Chola Empire, ascended the throne from 985 CE to 1014 CE. Sundara Chola, who is also known as Parantaka Chola II, was the son of Aranjaya Chola, another son of Parantaka Chola I. His son was the great emperor Rajaraja Chola. Gandaraditya may not be celebrated as a king who conquered empires, but he was a unique monarch who simultaneously displayed his spiritual inclination and sense of duty. His devotion, literary contributions, and the wise actions of his wife Sembiyan Mahadevi created a new chapter in Chola history. Indeed, Gandaraditya stands as a spiritual force that sustained an empire, not through war victories, but through his devotion, sacrifice, and invaluable contributions to Tamil literature.